Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network, brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Best picture, best actress, best screenplay, best job site. It's too bad there aren't award shows for hiring, because if there were, ZipRecruiter would sweep all the categories, including the Lifetime Achievement Award for revolutionizing hiring. 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Their powerful technology distributes your job to dozens and dozens of the web's leading job boards, then identifies the right people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. My listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Meanwhile, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans wants to help you. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, they'll give you a transparent online process and the confidence to make an informed decision. Get a real mortgage approval in minutes. Adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Bill Simmons. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. Finally, a State Farm agent has the knowledge and experience to anticipate your needs. With State Farm, you get more than just an agent. You get a teammate. You get a teammate that gets what matters most to you. Go to statefarm.com to get an agent that gets you. More on them a little bit later in this podcast. Don't forget to check out theringer.com. We are heading into the college basketball swarm right now. March Madness is going to be decided on Sunday. One Shining Podcast. Tate Frazier, Mark Titus, breaking down everything you need to do as you're going to fill out your brackets Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. But also, their podcast this week, they're going to be breaking down all the stuff that's going on, and we're even going to mess around with them on Instagram at Ringer. They're going to have some instant reactions to some of the games that we see during the week, so check that out. And if you love The Bachelor, man, did we cover The Bachelor like it was the NBA playoffs this week, and I fully support it. Bachelor Party with Juliet Libman. I think she's going to have 3 podcasts this week. She already has one up, so that happened. We put a bunch of pieces on the site because everybody was both horrified, amused, and entertained and compelled by the strangest Bachelor season I think we've ever had. And I think Becca Martinez might come back this week. We're trying to get her. She was fantastic. So check out all that stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bachelor Party feed. And if you missed the BS podcast yesterday with Charlie Warzel from BuzzFeed, we basically talked about the end of civilization and all the stuff that's happening on the internet and tech culture and conspiracy theories and just how dark everything's getting. Getting some really good feedback on that one. It's not a sports podcast, but if you're a smart person, I think you'll like this one. It goes in a lot of directions and it's really good. Coming up earlier this morning, went to Jimmy Kimmel's office, my old boss, my longtime friend. He hosted the Oscars on Sunday night. Cousin Sal was there as well, and the 3 of us just hung out and talked about Sunday night, and it's coming up right now. But first, Pearl Jam. All right, we're taping this on a Tuesday morning in Jimmy Kimmel's office. This is becoming a tradition.
Yeah, it is. I guess at the second time, is it a tradition or just a repeat?
It's a repeat. Yeah. Cousin Sal's here as well. Last year we did this, and it was the biggest fiasco in the history of award shows. This year was a little more mundane.
Yeah, thank God.
Is that a good thing?
I think so, yeah. It was fun to have that fiasco, but to have 2 fiascos, at that point, you think like, okay, well, there's something. It's like what's going on in Washington right now.
You know, when Sal wins his giant parlay in all the categories, it was that the Oscars went chalk.
Yeah.
What did you do, Sal?
This year, the biggest fiasco is you pronouncing the word fiasco.
Fiasco.
Trouble. Yeah.
I think he's going to get drafted.
Which I bet probably is technically correct if you really look
fiasco?
It up. The fiasco. Yeah.
What was your parlay, Sal?
The fiascors.
How did no one do that?
I don't know. We're too late. Late again.
Next year.
I parlayed all the big favorites, so I stayed away from Best Picture. And there was a trend. All the big favorites, minus 500 or higher, were 29-0 in the last 10 years.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm putting them together again. And,
so now it's 34-0.
34-0.
So how many different categories did you have in this parlay?
So it was the two actors. It was the two actresses.
McDormand and Oldman.
Best in supporting. Director.
Mhm.
And I added Coco just for good measure.
So you had to get all 6 to win.
Yes.
You went 6-0.
Yeah, that was it.
Nice.
Now,
Amazing.
this one wasn't as fortunate. You
No, less than Get Out. The Get Out odds dropped to what? Plus, it was like 7-2 by
You
by
got it at
Showtime.
20-1, and then you were going to do it again, and we had a text exchange about it.
Yeah, Jimmy talked me
Here's
out of
the
it.
thing.
You
You
talked me out
didn't
of
do it.
I
No,
didn't
he
do
did.
it. You talked
Well,
me
you
out
didn't
of
do it a second time. but
You were
did it.
adamant
Yeah.
that Shape of Water was going to win, and
Well,
I
I
don't know.
just
I don't
don't
know who
think-
you talked to.
Horror movies don't win. It's just maybe
Yeah.
you go back to The Exorcist. They just don't win. But I will say this. I will reveal this. Sal was very on edge all night. Not about my performance, not about anything other than he wanted to make sure Get Out didn't win Best Picture because he didn't want to hear it from you forever.
I would have bragged about it for
I
a
was
year.
like, what are we going to do? And Jimmy's like, oh, I'll just pull up 30 emails from the past about other things that he's been wrong about.
I just pull up the Clippers record and that'll be that.
I thought when he won for screenplay, I was like, this is great. And then Shape of Water wasn't winning the technicals. I was like, this
It
is
worked
good.
out perfectly because I did want to see him win something, but we also didn't want to hear you forever.
I would have bragged about it for a long time. Listen, it was yet another loss for me. A
Why
year full
can't-
of them.
I want to know if it came in second, though. Why don't they release that? It's just
Yeah, let's
another
talk about
MVP
that.
award.
Have
Why
you
can't we
asked?
see-
You're in on the Oscars, Jimmy. Why don't you ask these people?
Let's
Why
see
don't they release the
rankings,
votes?
how it came
Even
out.
the people who run the Academy don't know who finished
Who
second.
decided that?
This is the people at PricewaterhouseCoopers. They know everything.
But why
there's
don't they
somebody
tell us
there.
the votes?
It's so precious.
It would be amazing.
I
to
guess
know.
it would be disheartening to the people who come in last, maybe,
Yeah.
right? I mean, but the Olympics do it.
Everybody
Olympics
does it.
do it. All MVP
When they
awards.
did, they picked the NBA All-Star game. The captains picked the teams, and they were like, "We're not going to release the votes." And they came out, and it came out who was the last pick.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if like there was one movie or person or cat that no one voted for?
Yeah,
You got
like a
no
zero.
votes.
It was probably the Post.
Post.
Who voted for that thing? Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely, Shape of Water. I wasn't a huge fan. It was.
Oh, you
I
didn't like that movie?
I respected it.
Oh.
I'll never watch it again.
I might watch it again. I was thinking about this the other night.
Under
'Cause
the
my wife
influence of
hasn't seen
something,
it.
or just.
Well, potentially, yeah. But I liked it. yeah.
I've watched Get Out like 10 times. It's on HBO all the time, and
Yeah.
I had to
I always
watch-
get sucked in.
I had to watch Get Out in the middle of the day with all the blinds up because I
Really?
I get scared at horror movies. Like they
Yeah.
stay with me for a while. So and it turned out that that's not one that would really upset me because it was more of a thriller than a horror movie. But I was worried about it, so I watched it in the daytime.
Well, so that's why I didn't come to your Oscar party. I've been saving the story for this podcast.
What is this?
You watched Get Out again?
No. So your party started at like 10:30, and
Yeah.
my wife was in Boston,
10.
and I had the kids. Well, but 10:30 is.
Right.
So I had the kids, and my plan was to leave the house at like 10:30, and my daughter is almost 13. Like, they'll be fine.
Right.
Just, I'll put the alarm on. You'll be good. And we watched this movie on Netflix on Friday night called Veronica, which is this Spanish horror movie. It's basically like The Conjuring in Spanish, and it's petrifying. And my kids slept in the same bed Friday night and Saturday night. Like, they were like freaked out by it. I was like, oh, this is bad.
Why are you watching
So then-
Spanish horror movies?
Well, because
with
my
your
kids love horror
children?
movies. I know. And also, I'm a bad parent. So on
Okay,
Sunday,
you're raising children who are going to go to conventions
just be
in
terrified.
Burbank.
I know. They're going to
You
be
realize that.
terrified.
They're going to be collecting Fangoria magazine, and they're going to have little dolls of creatures from Black Lagoons, etc., all over their
That's
shelves.
the plan. So Sunday, I was like, all right, so you guys are going to be good tonight. And I could just tell my daughter, you've been there. Your daughter's grown up, and you have another one. My daughter's right between your two daughters.
My children never exhibited any fear of any kind.
But you know when they're 12, 13, and you just know you're like, and I knew I
fears
couldn't go.
This is one of the lamest excuses.
It
I've
wasn't
ever
an
heard for not
excuse.
going
It's what
to
happened.
A friend's
a Spanish
party.
horror. What were the odds? By the way, what were the numbers have been on it?
Veronica.
I couldn't come because
Yeah.
It's the hottest
Spanish
movie on
horror
Netflix
Yeah.
right now. But it did make me think they should have Uber for babysitters.
Well,
Like
yeah.
last minute babysitters
Sure,
where
what
it's
a
like
great
everybody's
idea.
vetted.
Stranger comes into your home,
Well, they're vetted. There would be
speaks no English.
It would be somebody
smells
I've
of
met, maybe I've
cologne.
met them before. Yeah. And you're just paying $30 an hour for some stranger to hang out in your house.
They probably have that.
So anyway, so I'm really mad I missed out on eating
That is so-
barbecue
I
at
don't
1:30
know.
in the morning.
I don't know. I think if it's Seth Meyers, he's there no matter
Seth-
what. Yeah, I think he leaves.
What the hell is that?
Hey, did you go
You're
to
on my
Seth?
side.
Seth had a party. Did you go to it?
I did go to that.
See what I mean?
And did Carrie come
I
to
had
it?
babysitting. No, Carrie did not. Carrie's, yeah.
Oh, you had a babysitter.
Yeah.
Well, my wife.
That's what you do.
Wait a minute. So your kids are now old enough to not have a babysitter.
Well,
The
no,
Golden Globes were last month.
no, what I learned was that
Your kids are now a month older. That's old enough now.
My kids are not old enough to have to not have a babysitter. That's what
That's because you're poisoning their
I
brains
know.
with Spanish
Because I'm
horror.
watching Spanish horror movies, Veronica, with these people getting possessed. So speaking of possessed,
Yes.
I was very worried about you with this Oscars.
You're always worried.
No, this one I was worried because the climate was definitely, I don't know, not comedy friendly.
No,
I would say.
Yeah, no.
It was an intense Oscars.
It wasn't the ideal situation going in.
It wasn't a great room,
No.
and you disarmed it, but there was a lot of thought put into it. I saw a rough draft of a monologue you had like 6 days ago, and it was
Right.
interesting to see some of the things you took out. What
Mostly
did you
for
learn?
Time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you learned like you watched the Seth Meyers Golden Globes one very carefully.
Oh,
to
now
see.
put the Seth Meyers.
No,
already.
but that was the first one. He was the test pilot. And the biggest lesson of that was you throw a name out in the room, kind of everybody's sphincters get tight.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I did have that. Because that's always the case. Even if it isn't a controversial year, they don't like to be singled out and they don't like to single others out. And the main reason why is because there are cameras on them throughout the whole thing and they know there's 30 million people watching. So they are very sensitive to that. And
So they're worried that they're going to be laughing hilariously at this Kevin Spacey joke, but then the camera cuts to them
yeah.
and nobody else is laughing, but they're having a riotous
And
time.
then they get a
and
call
that's
from
bad.
Kevin, who maybe they knew from
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
or even it doesn't, even if it's not about something as heavy as the Kevin Spacey stuff, even just taking a little shot at a movie, they don't want to be on camera. You know how it is.
But that's when you just show your parents.
The worst place,
Yeah.
the worst place for that is at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, because
Right.
these people are actually doing the business of the country with each other, and you've got journalists sitting next to politicians, and journalists rely on the politicians for information and interviews, and they're not going to sit there and laugh at their faces. I experienced this myself when we went to Jeff Ross's roast battle in Montreal at the Montreal Comedy Festival. Jeff said something that was very, very funny, but truly horrible. I mean, as black comedy gets. It's something, I forget what had happened, but something very bad had just happened in the news, and Jeff made a very, very bad joke. And I resisted the urge to laugh, and I just sat there because I was so nervous that I would be in the promo for Comedy Central or something, So I know where they're coming from. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to almost trick them. It's almost like boxing. Like you just have to catch them unaware with a joke to get them to really laugh at something that's directed at someone else.
Were you worried, Sal?
I was. I mean, we tried for weeks to find a sensitive way to fit our R2 Me Too joke in there. And
It never really
didn't
fit.
work. Yeah.
R2, me too.
Yeah, it didn't work. But
Yeah, what were the best jokes that got cut? Was there anything that
He
you
loves
just,
this
even now,
question.
you get haunted?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, there were a lot of good jokes. The problem is that you can only do like 2 jokes per subject. That's
Right.
what I've determined. So
Just
have to-
determined for the Oscars or from like all the different things
for
you posted?
awards shows,
Yeah.
for the upfronts, whatever, if you're standing in front of a group,
Yeah.
I don't think you can go too deep. You could do it in like with one subject, but if you're bouncing around from subject to subject, you can't stay on one for a long period of time.
So
It
you
just
look at
doesn't work.
Christopher Plummer and it's just fertile ground for comedy.
Yeah.
88-year-old guy. There's 100 million. How many old age jokes did you write, Sal?
I mean, it's a relief that he laughed right away at the first
It's
one.
a relief
right?
that he
There's
could
so
even
many-
hear us.
There's so many,
He didn't know what was going on.
so many times you could exhale, right? Like you were happy when the monologue was over, right? That was probably your first big, like, okay, let's now enjoy.
No,
it's
I didn't-
but it's
I
like
didn't
betting.
exhale.
It's like betting. Like when you win a big bet, you're just relieved. You're not.
Yeah,
There's
there's
you're not
no joy.
ecstatic. There's no chest bumping and everything. You're just like you're happy it's over. I don't know. That's kind of
Well, the
how I
Harvey
felt.
Weinstein, if this was a racetrack, the Harvey Weinstein section is
That's the
hairpin
sad
turn.
truth about life, by the way, that you just touched on there.
Yeah.
This is what you should be scaring your kids with. Is
What?
that
Instead of Veronica?
there's no joy or celebration
No.
really, unless maybe if you win the Super Bowl. But in the rest of your life, if it goes well, you're like, okay, good, that went well. And if it goes badly, you're like, oh my God, that was horrible. I'll
Right.
never recover from this.
My friend Dan Flores has this 20-hour basketball documentary that's going to be on ESPN, and he showed me a couple of segments from it. One of them is called Relief or Joy, and it's about coaches, about what happens when you win and how none of them can feel joy. You're just kind of happy you didn't lose.
Yeah,
It
that's
sounds
right.
like this.
That's right. Gambling, entertaining,
Gambling.
So good.
coaching.
Well, there was a website out there that had odds on all different things from your monologue.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah, right, I
karmically,
know.
you mailed it to us. The karma of it scared all of us, I think.
I know,
It
but
did.
why would it have been illegal for us to bet on that stuff?
It wouldn't have been illegal. I think it would have been shady for you to bet on it, but like to take care of a couple of maybe your
That's what I was
younger
thinking.
employees. I think
Who are our like kind of most degenerate
Right.
loser
Yeah.
friends that maybe don't live in LA.
Yeah.
Let them
Help
in
them out
on
a little
what
bit.
we're
like
gonna
Brad
do.
Mulcahy, he could have signed up for the website and put in. You know,
have to put a credit card down though. That's where he
That's
gets
true.
stuck.
But could you imagine Sal calling you and saying, "Listen, this is guaranteed. You know, he's going to mention Nancy Kerrigan in the monologue 4 times. So you
Right.
got to
Right.
bet the over on that."
Well, what were the bets? It was like Trump. He will mention
Well,
Trump.
that's what's interesting. The Trump mentions was 1.5, and as of I think Saturday, you were at 2, and
You
then
changed
it was,
one of the jokes,
and then I think it was 0. I don't even think you said his name. I mean, you alluded
Once,
to him.
one,
You said
yeah.
his name actually.
Yeah. Oh no,
I think you
changed
just
that
alluded
joke.
to right.
you
yeah.
changed to you changed it to Fox News, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was smart because the Trump is another one that the less you said the name, probably.
When people hear that name, they get nauseated.
Oh my God. Yeah. So this was like 2 years ago. I don't want to name any names, but Louis K. Was at this.
Oh,
he had a
yeah.
client at the Super Bowl, and we knew how long the national anthem was going to be.
Yeah.
We did bet on that. Thanks, Louis.
Yeah.
He told us never to tell anyone.
Was it pre-recorded?
It wasn't pre-recorded, but he saw the rehearsals, and remember it was like 20 seconds higher than the over/under.
Yeah.
There was
So
one
that was
website
good.
that had who will be Jimmy's first target, who will be the target of Jimmy's first joke, and they had like Trump, and they had me to himself, the Oscar, Beatty and Faye Dunaway, and they had Emma Gonzalez at 75-1, and I was thinking,
Emma Gonzalez.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, what
The
kind
kid.
of lunatic? Like, how would he do it? How would he? But then I'm
Oh my
thinking,
God.
well, maybe you do make her the target and then donate it all to the victims.
Oh, that
fund.
would have been
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that would have what a story that would have been.
But the
$75
problem with those
million.
bits is you can only put in like
You
50
can't-
bucks.
Yeah,
on,
they don't let you get rich off though.
Geez, it's hard to believe Sal was able to find some of these websites. I didn't know he cared about it like this.
That's
We got to tell you about something called porn. I think you'd really
Yeah?
like it. Yeah.
How much can you win?
And nothing really. It's more of a losing proposition. But
Since the last time we did this all together, Sal has launched a gambling podcast, and he's
Yeah.
launching a new generation of degenerates.
I think
He's
that's
kind of
really
their
good.
leader.
Because it
beautiful
was so
thing.
hard for you to do it one-on-one. And now you're able to get the word out there to the masses.
Oh, wait until this stuff becomes legal.
So Sal does this bet with Harry before the Super Bowl
Oh yeah,
that Harry can lose what 50,
52 pounds by Super Bowl 52, and then I give him $5,200.
and we
Does
do.
everyone know who Harry is, though? I mean,
He's
should
on
we
the
say-
degenerate trifecta, and
yeah,
he could
he's
have.
a big fat bald guy I went to college with. He kind of took me to the next step of where I am with gambling.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
is really when you experience Harry and that whole group, the fact that you met in college is
Yeah.
that's not where you'd think. You'd be like, yeah, we were in the joint together.
Yeah, or like overseas.
We were in like some kind of boys facility.
The truth is, he was a townie when I met him. He wasn't enrolled in the college. He was he went to
Townie?
Oswego High School,
my
and
God.
he would just peddle parlay cards, and everybody knew him around town. And eventually, he took his summer money he earned and enrolled, and it was
What a
eight
success
credits
story.
at a time.
And now
Incredible.
he's a townie again.
Yeah,
So they have the way off,
Yeah.
and somehow you end up being the host of it.
Well, no,
with
I wasn't
Corolla.
the host, but
You were technically the host.
Panicked that I was going to miss it, and I called Sal. I didn't know how tight the deadline was. I was like, "I'm 2 minutes away. This Lyft driver is taking forever. I'm 2 minutes away." And so he's like, "All right, well, okay, wait. I wanted to see it."
So you hosted Harry's Way Off, and then you hosted the Oscars within a month of each other.
But when Harry's Way
It has to be the biggest before and after TV
when it was
experience.
over, you were just relieved, right? Harry's
Yeah, there was no joy.
They weren't happy.
The best part of Harry's was one of the guys, we're at the Super Bowl, and Harry stripped down to his underwear, and his underwear were the fact that he chose this pair to be the pair he would wear in front of everyone on the internet at the Super Bowl meant that this was his best pair. I mean, they looked like underwear from like one of the world wars. They were made of burlap, and they were like ill-fitting. So anyway, Harry's standing there in his underwear, and we stuffed like $5,200 down the front of his shorts.
Yeah.
The best part was Sal's 10-year-old son wandering around near pretty much naked Harry.
The best part was Will Burke's daughter wandering. No, whose daughter was it? Somebody's daughter came in with her Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, yeah, Hench.
Oh, my God.
Hench's daughter. That's right.
Hench brought his daughter to sell Girl Scout cookies at the Super Bowl?
And
That doesn't sound like Hench at all.
I said, look, there's a guy standing right there in his underpants who has not eaten in, I don't know, weeks and has $5,200 cash in it. Go right there.
Oh, my God.
That was a good call. I think he gave her like $4,800.
Jesus. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, the U.S. Postal Service is an important tool for any business, reaching every household every day. Stamps.com, our old friends, brings all the amazing services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your fingertips. Buy and print official U.S. postage with your own computer and printer. Stamps.com even sends you a digital scale that automatically calculates exact postage. They have postage discounts you can't get at the post office. It's the U.S. Postal Service right at your fingertips. You know why I love Stamps.com? I like handing my outgoing mail and packages right to my lovely mail lady. I like just giving it right to her. Why would I want to get in my car and go to the mail something at the post office? Be like me. Use my code BS for this special offer, a 4-week trial, plus postage, plus a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, type in BS, Stamps.com, enter BS, sign up today. And one more thing you should sign up for. You've heard me talk about Gillette on this podcast. I've been shaving since college. You know what's changed my life? The Gillette Fusion Ultra Sensitive Skin Shaving Gel. It's the first shaving cream I've ever used that I shave and I don't get those weird little fake neck zit bumps on my neck. Recently, I started using the Gillette Fusion Pro Shield razor, which was also great. I ordered it. I got 4 refillable razors and free shipping. Every 4th order free from that point on because I subscribed and I like to change my razors. So this is great for me. Now you can get Gillette Performance delivered to your door. No more getting mad at yourself because you just got back from the grocery store and realized you forgot to buy blades. Here's what you do. Subscribe today. Pick your favorite razor. Get every 4th order free. Visit Gillette online at GilletteOnDemand.com. Back to the cousins, Jimmy and Sal. All right, we're back. So the Oscars...
Yes.
You went at President Trump today.
Well, he
went at the Oscars first about the ratings.
He sets himself up very well. It's almost I can't believe a person wouldn't be so self-unaware that he would tweet something about ratings when his approval rating, which he has delivered to him in bed every morning, is so unbelievably low. But I guess that's what if you were a psychologist, you would say that's projection.
Yeah.
Say everyone else has low ratings, and then nobody will notice you have low ratings. When the truth is exactly the opposite thing happens.
I was interested in this because the spin control, which we're going to talk about in a little bit about what's happened to your life in the last year, but the spin control, I could tell one of the angles was going to be, wow, Kimmel got too political. That's why the ratings over the last year, that's why the ratings are down. The ratings were down because the best movie was Shape of Water. And the 2 best actor and actress were Gary Oldman and Frances McDormand. There are no stars.
That's
it wasn't
not
like
why,
event television.
You disagree? I think there was like no signature anything.
Just look at the pattern. The ratings are down, all-time low for Super Bowl, Emmys, Oscars, Golden Globes, I think, they've been,
The
on
Globes
not
are
as
down
long.
too.
And there's one other award show.
Harry's weighing.
Since Netflix happened, since, we are now able to watch anything we want at any time, we don't have this situation where like, oh, the Oscars are on. This is what we're watching.
Only one thing has gone up: The Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor has
gone
gained
up?
steam. No, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think The Bachelor is maybe even with last year. But.
When I worked with you, The Bachelor, I mean, there were just less channels. Like something like The Bachelor could get like 20 million people with their season finale. Now I don't think there's any road to that.
But what did Trump say? He said, I think this is because there are no celebrities in America.
There are
except
no
for
stars
me. No
left.
stars, except me. And much like our agent, James Baby Doll Dixon, that's just kidding, of course.
Baby Doll is a little bit different. He says, kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding,
That
double,
means
double
that
kidding.
indicates that he was not kidding.
Right.
But if realized later he offended somebody, so he is kidding.
Right, kidding.
He'll
Sorry.
write it
Sorry
or
you're
say it.
crying.
Baby Doll has warned us that he's listening to this podcast, which is a big move for him.
Does that count as work for him? Because
Yes.
that would
Yeah,
be
do you know how
new
hard
terrain.
it is to get a podcast on a flip phone? It's
Yeah.
almost impossible.
Well, he is.
He has to hold it up over his head like an antenna.
You know
We
what
had-
else that counts as work? Tell a quick Baby Doll story from this weekend. He shows
Please.
up to the Oscars. Now there's rehearsal. This was Thursday night at 6:30. He shows up with his daughter Emily, who had just arrived from New York, and he's a half hour in. He's sound asleep. I send you the pictures.
Yeah.
Side by side, the two of them are sound asleep. He claims
That's got to
he's-
make you feel good, Jimmy.
and he wakes up for a minute, and then
Weirdly, it does.
they have baskets of fruit and everything. It all ends up on his seat like it's a movie theater, but there's a banana peel on the ground,
He's
Cheez-Its,
just
everything.
throwing trash.
Oh, like an animal?
And
like
then
a
he
rat.
leaves, and then he's gone. That was it.
He just expects
He
somebody's
came,
going to pick it
he
up.
slept, he littered, he left.
Well, so when
the
he comes
t-shirts,
for the
right?
week, I've always tried to figure this out for you. He makes it seem like you need him, and this
Yes,
is
you do.
really important for him to come the whole week to support you. But I would
Come the
argue,
week, he stays with him.
well, there's a counter case that it actually is more of a burden than
100%.
a help.
The counter case.
I'm laying out the counter case. He stays with you, and you have two small kids.
The problem is
He goes around everywhere. He's constantly texting you. I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm running late, baby. The traffic's terrible.
No,
like,
he-
why do you need this?
He's beyond the explaining why he's late. Like he
Oh, he
hadn't
doesn't
heard
do
any of
that
the
anymore.
monologue. So we had our
Yeah.
first table read on Thursday night, and the table read was at 6:00. Baby showed up at 7:15.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, he was at a
In the
meeting with me
middle.
before, and he showed up 10 minutes late for a meeting he had arranged, and then left at 6. And it's like, I have to go to Jimmy's to Dolby Theater. What time do you have to be there? 6. We kind of looked at the phones. It
He was
like
on the phone during
5:58.
the first time you did the monologue during rehearsal. He's on his phone, and Lewis and I, your was like, "What is going on?" He's on his phone in the studio, like doesn't even get out.
It's great. He's taking it to
He's
another
not
level.
an agent. He's playing the character of an agent in a movie that we don't realize we're in.
It's like a Truman Show.
Speaking
The
of,
Dixon
we
Show.
talked about. I think Baby would be a great candidate for this. You were saying Kobe put down $4 or $5 million. What was it to make this animated short?
Oh, to make the movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
wins.
it was, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a few $1 million.
And
And
you
you
were
got
making
like
the
the
point.
best of everybody.
We were thinking maybe Baby should do this too. Like just put down $5 million.
We were trying to think like,
short.
Kobe's laid out this blueprint for the short film Oscar, which is a category that is usually these people that have slaved away for 3 years in Liberia.
Right.
And
It's a brother,
they're
sister
doing
team,
it. They're
yeah.
filming it on their iPhone, and they're eating ramen every day to survive. And then Kobe comes in and he gets like John Williams. He gets like all the best people.
Yeah.
They spend an insane amount of money. He blows everyone away. Plus he's Kobe Bryant. Half the Academy are probably Laker fans.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is great, Kobe Bryant. And meanwhile, like Stanley Kubrick never won an Oscar. And easily could have done this and
Well-
had made like a 3-minute short film. And the Oscar counts the same as everyone else's Oscar.
I like
It's
to
not
see-
like they're different sizes.
I like to see Stanley try to win the NBA MVP.
Yeah.
Well, so we had Roger Sherman at the Ringer was saying Kobe, they have the EGOT.
Yeah.
So he said Kobe was the first LMFAO, the
Oh.
Lawrence O'Brien Trophy, MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, and Oscar. The LMFAO,
So the L is the Lawrence, huh?
Lawrence
Yeah.
O'Brien Trophy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was a good one. But I think this is Baby's blueprint now.
Yeah.
we convinced Baby to spend $4 million on a short film.
He just smokes. He just sits there and smokes for 4 minutes.
We'd be better off focusing on convincing Baby to spend $4 million on a meal that we go to one night.
Sure. Well, we've done that already.
Accidentally buy the hotel.
Yeah, was there a meal? Did you run up his bill?
No, I was mad because I thought he was going to have a party, but then he pointed out that Jimmy didn't want one. So, and how dare you come between my...
I thought there was a party that I didn't get invited to, and I was upset.
Well, first of all, there was a party you did get invited to.
No, I'm not talking the Sunday night
so
party.
you have no reason to be upset about any of this stuff. But I will say this: I never told Baby Doll that I didn't want to have that. No, I never ever said that. He willed that onto me. Baby, you don't want to have. I gave him like I don't know. It depends on where I am. At that
I wish
time.
I would have known
that. That kind of consideration has never been taken into account before.
Wait, so to recap, you never told Baby you didn't want the Friday night, here are all my friends and family in town
Correct.
party.
Never.
Baby then told Sal, Jimmy told me he didn't want to have the party.
I just assumed he didn't want to be bothered, and then I have nowhere to go with it, you know?
Well, what I would have said is you can have the party, it'd be great. And last year I came because I was ready
Party
to
was
go.
fun last year.
I probably would have come this year. I think I was set and I would have had time to come. But you have to understand that if I can't come to it, I can't come to it.
Right.
But he just decided he didn't want to have the party.
He doesn't care anymore.
You would think that a man who has like 7 houses, each one exceeding 20,000 square feet, would be a little bit of a free spender, but not really the case.
I know.
Well, I told I'm going to the Masters with my dad, and I told Baby, and Baby was like, "Oh, I'm going too. This is great," and then proceeded to tell me a 5-minute story about how expensive his trip's going to be. How he's taking a peepo, he has to charter a plane, he's renting a house, he's just going Saturday. Tickets are insane amount. You have to give them back, or it's made. He laid out the whole thing for me. No, does any other agent do this?
No.
Here's how much money I spent this week.
He walks. So I did Ellen on the week leading up to the Oscars last week, and he landed that day. He comes straight from the airport,
Right to Ellen.
And there's no better time to catch Baby than when he's arrived straight from the airport.
Yeah.
Because he is just a tornado of cigarette smoke.
Right.
Right.
Especially cross country.
You're just gone 6 hours.
When he has a 6-hour trip, he doesn't smoke fewer cigarettes that day. He still smokes the same
gotta catch
amount.
up.
He just smokes them all in the rental car. That's undoubtedly a no smoking rental car. And then when he turns it back in, he just yells at them and says, "I did not smoke in that car.
Yeah, he
that car
definitely did
smelled
that.
like smoke when I got in there." And he shows up, and at that moment that he arrived, Ellen was in my dressing room. Baby walks in. He's as red as a lobster. I mean, he has been out in the sun. And meanwhile, I'm watching the news in New York. It's snowing. He comes in. He's been in Florida for the week. He is tanner than Trump. He walks in. He's loud. His hair is all crazy, and he gets that. He's like wild. And he smells like smoke and cologne. And Ellen looks at him like, there's a wild animal. Is there an animal segment on the show tonight? Because there's a wild animal in this dressing room. And he's like, "Baby," and he walks over, he kisses me loudly on the face, and then he embraces Ellen as if she's his old friend.
Oh, no.
And she is totally confused.
Oh, my God.
And I just start laughing.
Ellen, you remember me.
Ellen, you know
You
me,
know,
James Dixon,
2002.
Baby Doll, and Ellen's just nodding, kind of like, "All right, I'm going to ease my way out of this room" type of way.
I like when he berates people for not remembering him. It's a classic Baby thing. You remember. No, you remember. It was 2005.
You know me.
It was 2 in the morning.
Sean Penn pretending not to remember me. F him.
Can we tell the story
Wait,
about...
it didn't end there, though. Then the U.S. women's gold medal hockey team was on there, which
God.
paved the way for a lot of great photos.
As soon as I heard they were on, I was like, oh no. He's going to be right in the middle of them trying to get pictures with all
I
of
watched
them.
8 minutes of one of your games. It was
Not
great.
even.
Tugging on their gold medals, taking pictures with them. See this? My 3 guest bathrooms are made out of this. Jupiter, Florida.
All right, hold on. Let's take a break. Hey, with over 19,000 State Farm agents nationwide, you can get an agent that gets you as well as Paul George and Russell Westbrook get each other. That's the focus of The Ringer's new relationship goals video. Russell Westbrook, Paul George. I thought this would work. Paul George is kind of the overqualified number 2, and Russell Westbrook, obviously an alpha dog, likes to shoot and do stuff. It's been fascinating to watch them kind of decide who gets the ball at the end of the games. I've enjoyed it. Paul George, probably the best two-way player in the league right now. Best defensive player, that's for sure. And Westbrook, obviously a force of nature at the end of the games. Their stats combined have helped the Thunder lead the league in turnovers forced per games and points off turnovers per games. We'll see if they can make the playoffs. That is a tough Western Conference. Regardless, be sure to check out that video on theringer.com. It's coming this week. Or the Ringer's YouTube channel, youtube.com/theringer, or the Ringer's Facebook, or the Ringer's Twitter, @Twitter. And remember, the teammates on the court, like teammates on the court, a relationship with a State Farm agent sets you up for the success off the court. Go to statefarm.com to get an agent that gets you. And since we're here, let's talk about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They understand that home plays a big role in your life and family. That's why they created Rocket Mortgage. Gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home, refinancing your existing home loan. Don't you want to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage? Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, with Rocket Mortgage, you get a transparent online process that gives you the confidence to make an informed decision. It's convenient. Their trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. And in addition to getting real mortgage approval in minutes, you can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Bill Simmons. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org, number 3030. Back to the Wacky Cousins. So the last time you were on the pod, a lot of stuff has happened since.
Yes. Are you trying to make me cry?
No, I'm not. Well, first of all, that's easy.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. You beat your show and your profile and everything went up like a giant level.
Hold on one second.
Frightening ways.
I want to get back to this, but I want to know where you got that Ramones t-shirt.
My wife bought it for me.
Where'd she buy it? Like Fred Siegel or something like that?
I don't know.
Is that one of those like $90 rock and roll t-shirts?
Not.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Do you like the Ramones?
Huh?
I said, do you like the Ramones?
It's like the t-shirt.
You're not allowed to wear a t-shirt of a band you're not into.
How many Ramones can you name?
Joey.
Never mind Ramones.
Tommy.
Let's go with this. All right.
Sal.
Come up with all the Italian names you have.
Bobby.
Sorry, let's
Bobby
go back.
Ramone was great.
We'll go back to your love of the Ramones.
Yeah, so your profile was up. This is the first time you've had like
The Ramones.
people out there that are like, fuck that guy.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, there's a whole segment out there like, fuck that guy.
Oh no, there's been that for a long
No,
time.
but this is like-
oh, you
this
mean
is
half
real.
of the country?
Yeah, well,
that's not a segment. That's half.
you got political, but you got it in a way that was genuine to you and your experiences in life, but people still don't like that.
Yeah, no, people are very, very angry in this country right now.
Why
Yeah.
ask it? Everybody asks him this. Why?
They will.
I'm just
This is
want to
every
cover
interview
it.
he does.
No, we're glossing over this.
They will apply it to any situation. I can post a picture of my daughter eating pancakes, and they'll be like, "You liberal pussy dick sucker." You know, it's like, hey, it's just pancakes. You know, can maybe we wait for something that's relevant to this comment?
People have asked him about this, but
That's just from Baby Doll, by the way.
I actually know him and I know how he is, and his instinct, much like mine, and it's the Italian in all of us, is to fight back.
Yeah.
And you have to, and that's the worst thing you could do. It's like engaging in the land war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to go.
Every once in a while, you can fight back. In fact,
Well, Trump's an easy target to fight
this
back on.
morning, I realized something. I've been like kind of, leading up to the Oscars, it's a lot of stress and, a lot of anxiety. And then when it's over, it's just kind of over, and everybody writes and says, oh, great job, this and that, whatever. And you say, oh, thank you. And then you're kind of, it's over, it's now Tuesday and we're back to work on the regular show. So it's a little bit of a letdown. And this morning I got up and I opened my computer and Trump tweeted about the low-rated Oscars, and I tweeted a snappy little comeback, and I realized after I did how I was really happy, and I felt like I was back. I said to
You
my
got your
wife,
mojo back.
this is better than coffee. I don't know why. I'm like excited to go to work now. I'm like happy to go there and respond to the president, his tweet that was directed basically at me.
Well, because your profile is high enough now that it's hard to find people that it's a no lose for you to go back and forth with him.
Yeah, well,
if he engages, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the president of the United States, if he takes time to single you out, it's
great.
Always a no lose.
It's a win every time.
Yeah,
you go back. You love this cell.
I do. I like it. It's
something
it's
makes
weird
sound
how
nervous,
we've
though.
come. Like a year ago, it was like, oh, Fallon, Colbert, Kimmel, who's winning? Like, and it's not like it's really now who's trashing Trump or who's how they're treating the business of the day, versus and until someone from the Ringer writes a lukewarm article about us. It is just about.
Did that happen?
No, that didn't happen. No.
It's like 2 weeks ago.
No, what are you talking about?
So long ago. Don't worry about it.
You're telling me you don't have a little meeting with your staff and say, whatever you write, whatever you do, you better not cross Kimmel.
Well, that might have been in an email.
No, it is different times. It's very strange.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to. Was there any excitement at all? I don't think I got much of a reaction at all from you.
For what?
About the Timothy Chalamet. A big fan he is of you and your podcast.
It's
and in
actually
fact, he's probably listening right now.
It's actually the opposite.
Why?
My entire staff is in love with him, including some of the guys.
Yeah,
and it was a huge moment.
Oh,
he
good.
is like the number one prodigal son of the Ringer.
Good.
I think every woman that works for us is in love with him in some form. I think every woman is in love with him. Like, period.
Well,
like my wife, my daughter, like everybody I know loves that guy.
He's very likable. Besides being a handsome kid and a great actor, but
I thought he had some of the best reactions during the award show, not just at the Oscars, but at the Independent Spirit the day before. Really great. Really got a kick out of it. Yeah.
By the way, I should say that John Mulaney and Nick Kroll were absolutely hilarious at the Independent Spirit Awards. And I emailed them afterwards. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well,
I got to do the Oscars tomorrow. Take it easy.
Bill, were they as funny at the after party when you went?
They were good. It was good to see both of them. Food was good. But he
put his kids in a panic room just to keep them occupied while he went to the party.
But the show's a little more political than it used to be.
What is?
Your show.
Oh, it's a lot more political. But you understand it. I mean, you've been here. What we always did from the beginning is we talked about what was in the news of the day.
Gravitate toward what people care about.
This is in the news of the day
you have
every
no choice.
single day. And if in a few years we get a boring president, then it will revert back the other way. Not just our show, but all of the shows.
How do you think it's changed late night, just how people are seeing these shows? Do you feel like
I feel like people are looking for catharsis. People are looking for someone, first of all, to summarize the madness each day, because it's a lot to absorb and it's a lot of work to take it all in. And then also to say the things that they feel like they want to say, or at least just want to think. I think that's why people are watching these shows, and why you see when you do a segment that touches on this material, it becomes very viral. All the news outlets are hungry for our commentary at the end of each day. We have to tell them what we did before the show airs.
It's almost like a daily recap of all the zaniness from.
It's a daily recap of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you wrote on the show when Bush was in office, and a lot of people didn't like him. They didn't like the way he was handling the country, but we didn't pound him every day.
We mentioned him once a week.
We'd wait till he ran into a door at the end of the week or something, then we'd make a big deal out of it. This guy is 5 tweets in before we wake up. We have to address it.
Crazy the characters, this edition of this Nunberg is like, it's really like Breaking Bad or something when Gus shows up for the first time. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, here's another great character.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I remember the first couple months, and Act 1 was kind of evolving.
It wasn't scripted at all.
Yeah, you didn't really know what it was yet, but we would always be so grateful when something happened. You'd be like, sure. I remember there was that Michael Jackson crazy 2020 interview that he did with the kid who had slept over, and it was like, what is this? Do we touch this? We're like, we got to. Everyone's talking about it, and that's kind of what Act One has to be. It's like, what are people talking about?
The worst nights are when there are a dozen semi-interesting stories and you have to make something out of them. Those are the tough nights. When there are big stories, it's a lot easier. I mean, it's a lot of work still, but at least you know the audience knows what you're talking about. You don't have to catch them up on what's happening somewhere.
Were you worried when Jimmy started diving into some of this like real stuff?
Worried
over the last
about
year?
people
Just
hating
about
him or something?
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, I worry
The
a
whole
little
family
bit, but
takes it really personally when Jimmy gets attacked.
It's weird because
I take it personally.
I don't see it as much as he does, but like if he'll copy me on if he'll list me as my handle on a tweet on a show that I'm in, then I get what you get, like a 1/100th of it. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how crazy people are out
Sal
there.
has asked me to dissociate myself from him.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with this.
He was so happy he doesn't have
We
his
can't
different
gamble
last
on
name.
this. There's no point.
And when is Billy's birthday?
April 21st, day after Hitler's.
Is that's true?
We were very nervous. At least I was. I didn't want him to be born on Hitler's birthday.
Oh my! I didn't even know that was a thing.
I was like, Molly, you're going to have to hold it in. If you start having contractions at 6 a.m., it's going to be a long 24 hours.
Yeah.
I had the opposite. My son was almost born on Halloween, and I was really rooting for it, for the Michael Myers kind of
For
whatever, and he
Veronica.
just wouldn't come out. The fucking guy stayed in there 3 hours longer.
Oh,
Just missed it.
you don't want to be born on Halloween.
I was fired up for it.
Well, it's the worst. I mean, your birthday is just gone.
Well, now he has the greatest because he's got Halloween, and then he's got
Yeah.
the next. It's like a 2-day extravaganza.
It must be just an incredible
No.
sugar rush over that 48-hour period.
See, it literally
To the
is.
candy and the
It's
cake.
out of his mind.
He needs a little sugar. He's a little,
He's
low-key,
the last thing
man.
he needs is
Yeah.
more
You know,
energy.
last night, Monday, was the night after the Oscars, and we were very tired. We went to bed very late, and then our daughter woke us up very, very early. And then I felt like, because it was my wife's 40th birthday,
Yeah.
I should get up, even though, I just hosted the Oscars. I felt like I should get up. And so my wife went back to sleep, and I got up with the kids. And then last night, I came home, and her mom and sister and brother-in-law, everybody, and were there with cake and pizza and stuff like that. So it was quite a 2 days for me.
Jesus.
I was up till midnight last night.
Never ends.
I'm
How
half
much sleep are you
delirious.
getting on Oscars week? Because like Molly had some Instagram posts like it's 2 a.m. and we're working on the monologue. It was like Saturday night.
I'll tell you, on Saturday night, first of all, the rehearsal doesn't end till after midnight, which is ridiculous. And they have to be there early. We do the whole show. I don't know if people know this, but on Saturday, we run through the whole show. Then on Sunday, in the early morning, we do the whole show to time. And then we do the whole show live starting at 5 o'clock. So we get
What do you mean
home-
the whole show to time?
I mean, we start at the top of the show. We go through the whole thing. They have stand-ins pretend to be the
So
winners.
you literally do 4 hours.
We literally do 4 hours.
Jesus.
And then we come back and do the
Saturday night and then Sunday morning,
yeah.
but nothing Friday.
What's funny when everybody thinks the Oscars ran long that nobody had any idea it was.
I don't know
It was
why
like,
they
oh, it
don't
ran
just
long
say-
again. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm
You
pretty
just
sure it was
say
all
it's-
intentional.
This is what it's
Even
gonna be.
internally, they always say like, yeah, because it's going to be 3 hours and 45 minutes or whatever. Like we know it's going to be within a 10, 20-minute range of how long the show's going to be. But for some reason, it doesn't really run long when you know what the length is going to be in advance. But
I'll tell you what I was nervous about. You asked me what I was nervous about. The first time you did your monologue at that rehearsal, because there was already a leak.
yeah, I was nervous about that
I was
too.
like, I don't know if this is the right move. I understand why.
Oh,
you have to
what do
it.
you mean there was a leak?
TMZ had already reported that Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway were there, and they wrote and I don't know why that's okay. Like, I could see if something's news, but like, you're basically ruining a show. It's a spoiler, and I don't know why.
What does
that's-
anyone get out of it except for what $200 they paid the guy or whatever?
Yeah, they get whatever click-throughs they get. But on that Saturday night, I came home and my monologue was still in a state of flux. I had
What was in flux?
it was too long. I was still wrestling with how I was going to address the serious issues, and I wasn't settled on them all. I had to cut like 2 pages And the monologue was like 7 pages long. So I had to cut about 2 pages. We get home. It's like 1:30 in the morning. Our son is crying, which he never does. He's never, So Molly goes up there, and I'm sitting at the computer working on the monologue. And then I just hear, and I go running upstairs. And Molly is covered in vomit like
oh no.
like when you dip a pretzel in white chocolate.
Right.
That's what she looked like. And it is all over her. So she hands me the baby, and I take off his clothes, and I got him. And now he's happy, and he's laughing. He's like, yep,
Mission
look what I
accomplished.
just did. And she had to go take a shower. I mean, that's how much.
Oh my God.
And she had a spray tan earlier that day. So now there's like vomit stains on her spray tan. She'd had her hair blown out, and it's a disaster. So I take him, and he thinks it's funny, and he's wide awake. Now it's like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm looking at him, and I just said, listen, I'm hosting the Oscars.
Yeah.
Not
Get your
even
shit
tomorrow,
together.
later today.
Yeah.
And you need to go to sleep.
Do you listen?
No.
Yeah.
How'd that not make the monologue?
I don't know. I should have put it in there. He also bit me on the nose hard the other day. He really just got out of my nose. And
10 months is when you're holding them and they'll just randomly punch you in the head and think it's hilarious.
yeah. And
I miss 10 months.
I know nobody cares about this stuff, and maybe this is like the end of the show segment. Are you guys going to do one of those, or is that only?
What do you mean?
When you talk about the Parents' Corner?
Oh yeah, let this be it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could be your parent corner.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
So Parents' Corner, kids have a sense that we don't have. We become accustomed as adults to things being on our heads. So like you see, like Sal has a baseball hat on. It doesn't look weird to us. We see a baseball hat. Or if you were to be wearing glasses, we'd say, okay, you're wearing glasses. But the kids, babies, would look at you and go, what's on your face? What's on your head?
Yeah.
I need that.
And they immediately
We
want to
grab
pull
that.
it off
Yeah.
of you because
Right.
it seems weird that there's something on your head.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think no, the 10-month mark.
I don't know. It strikes me as funny how funny they think it is.
I would
or
say
they'll
be
punch
careful
you.
the headbutt. The
headbutt
when
is
you hold it
brutal.
right here, and it could come out of nowhere.
My son does the reverse headbutt, which is he
the
likes to
throwback.
dive backwards.
Yeah.
It's only with me.
Yeah.
So I'll be holding him, and all of a sudden, because I tilt him backwards, and he loves it, and he'll just throw himself backwards.
Yeah, they don't know.
And it's funny, but it's dangerous.
Knock a tooth out.
I have my
He has
parent
no
corner.
teeth.
Here's my quick parent corner. I took my son's phone on Sunday because he was playing ball inside the house and like broke a small window. And he knew, and he just ran upstairs like a scared dog. And then I saw the window and I'm like, what the hell happened? I come up and he's like, I'm sorry. You should take my phone. And he's like punishing himself. I'm like, I'm absolutely going to take your phone. I'm taking it for a week. You can get it back in a week.
For
Take
breaking
it.
a window?
Yeah, because he
Should
knows.
just broke the phone. That's just break the glass.
He knows. I was so mad at him because the playing ball in the house thing. So I take the phone.
Oh, what a hypocrite.
He disappears for 3 hours to sulk. He comes down for the Oscars. And then he's like, Dad, if I get the next 3 categories right in a row, I get my phone back. And I'm like, well, what do I get? He's like, nothing. But it'd be really hard to get 3 in a row. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'll give you your phone back.
This is a great ploy to increase ratings, by the way.
So the first category, I'm like, there's no way he's going to do this. We're hitting all the technical stuff. The first category is Best Supporting Actress. The only movie he'd seen out of the 5 is I, Tonya. So he's like, I picked the I, Tonya lady. I'm like, all right. So he gets that one. Second one is Kobe's category. I'm like, oh my God, really? Kobe? So of course he picks that. Kobe wins.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the next one. And then the next one is Best Animated. And it was Coco, which was obviously going to win.
Yeah.
And he's running around the house with his arms out.
Breaking windows.
Future gambler. I mean, this is really, he's going to be in the
He
degenerate
outwitted you
quad.
is what
He
happened.
really
He
did.
did.
I was like, what are the odds? Those are the 3 categories. The only one he's going to get.
Every boy breaks a window and tries to hide it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would like to share a story about my cousin Sal. I may get a couple of little details wrong, but it doesn't matter, so don't correct me. Sal broke a window when he was a kid in the 80s, and there was some mystery as to who'd done it because he didn't necessarily want his mother to know that he'd done it, or his father.
How was there mystery when Sal was living in the house?
Well, listen, you haven't been to that house. There's a Sal's maybe the calmest member
A lot
of
going
it.
on.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
So there was a little bit of a cover up, and my Aunt Fran, Sal's mother, went to Sal. She obviously knew he'd done it. And she said, Sal, do you remember on the Cosby Show when they said it's always better to tell the truth? And Sal took a moment, and Sal said, all right, Theo did it.
Then what
I
happened?
forgot about that. Yeah. It seemed the safest way to go.
Jesus. Do you have a quick parent corner, Sal?
I do. Oh, I guess I do. They have, it's funny. They have these stuffed animals. They used to do it with live animals where the preschool would give the live animal to the kid every weekend. A different kid would take it home and you take pictures with the thing. Now it becomes a flat Stanley.
What kind of animals did they give you?
I don't know. It was like, we once had a rabbit. It was just like a rabbit. We took the rabbit home for the weekend, and miraculously I was able to get it back in
alive
in its original form. Yeah. But now it's a stuffed animal. Stuffed animal's name was Molly. And see, this is a visual thing. It's not going to play as well. But so we had to take Molly home for my son Harrison, and you take pictures with it wherever you go. So Saturday, I'm scrambling before the Oscar rehearsal. I'm like, we have to get your mother a gift. I say to the kids, we're going to go to the mall. And Melissa says, take Molly with you. You have to take pictures with her, with the doll, wherever you go. And you may have to cut out
Maybe
the
you
last
post this on
yeah.
your
Oh, yeah, you
Twitter.
could on your new Instagram.
Yes,
your new
yes,
Instagram.
I will.
Yeah.
What is your new Instagram?
I was trying to get
I
Sal to
don't
go
know.
on Instagram for 2 years.
It's the cousin Sal. Meanwhile, I was flagged. I had to delete my first picture. Anyway, this
What?
is the picture I take.
He got
Yeah.
busted by
What
the
was your
Academy.
first picture?
Baby doll, and it has all the seating chart in the background.
At the Oscars
Yeah,
rehearsal.
he was vaping at the Oscars.
And Baby Doll got yelled at for it. They're like,
Yeah.
you need to take that picture down. He's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I
He
wouldn't,
doesn't
even
know
if
what-
I knew how. I
don't-
would never.
What is Instagram? And I'm not doing it anyway.
So anyway, here's the picture I take of
This-
Harrison in the mall. Jimmy, you
This is a picture of Harrison, Sal's little son, standing next to mannequins that have bras on in the lingerie department.
she gets mad. She won't forward it. This does not make the collage.
It didn't make
No,
it.
I was like, I give up. What do you
It
want me to
says
do?
"Choose Your Smooth," the Vanishing Back collection, and Harrison looks pretty
Wow.
excited.
Yeah,
I have a
he's
lot
fine.
of high hopes for that kid.
Well, now
Yeah,
we
he
do,
looks
right?
super
Could be
comfortable.
the
there.
next Timothy Chalamet if we play our cards right.
I think so.
I have one more mini parent corner because we're probably not doing this for a while.
Go.
My son loves Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
and my son loves MLB The Show,
Okay.
that video game. He created an outfielder named Alexander Hamilton, and he gave him like all the best power and speed and all this stuff. And he plays when Alexander Hamilton hits home runs, and he goes nuts and sings Hamilton songs.
Really?
And it's like, yeah, he's a lunatic.
Wow, that's
He's gonna be living
real-
at home till he's 40. I'm
That
convinced.
is both the opposite ends of the spectrum, really.
Yeah, it's really the Hamilton and video games. It's really something. So what's next
For who?
for you?
The death, I guess. I don't know.
No, that's it.
Eventual-
Upfronts? What's your
slow
next big
march
thing?
towards death?
What's your next big thing?
Baby Doll says he could host for the next 5 years if he wants.
I am.
Did Baby Doll say that?
I am.
Why can't you just be the Oscars host every year?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Why not?
You know why not? Look at me.
Keep
Look at
doing
my
it.
face.
You look great.
I am going to. I don't know exactly what the date is, but I'm going to host an SCTV reunion.
Oh, you were excited about this.
in Toronto. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that I'm excited about.
Oh, nice.
And then the upfronts, and then maybe I'll go fishing.
Roast battle.
Roast, yeah, I would go to the roast battle.
We
They have
went-
it at Montreal. I'm there.
We had a dinner, and Martin, you brought Martin Short,
Yes, for my birthday. Yeah,
and
Yeah.
I had always heard he was one of the great dinner guests.
he is the
So
greatest.
good.
He
dinner
might be
guest.
the greatest dinner guest,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, no question.
We had like 8 people there, and it just was Martin Short for 3 hours.
Yeah, because who else do you want?
Why?
to hear
No,
talk?
you don't want anyone else to talk. He's just telling stories.
Yeah, he's the best.
It was. Is he like who's the Pantheon talk show? Who are like the most like you
Well,
see
Rickles
somebody?
passed away. I mean, Rickles definitely was right up there.
He was in the in memoriam, and I was worried about you coming out of the in memoriam, knowing how
Believe
how
me,
sad you get.
I checked in numerous times to make sure he would be in that in memoriam montage because I know that a lightning bolt would have hit me on the way out of the theater if he
Yeah.
hadn't been.
yeah. But who else? Who's in the Mount Rushmore?
Of the great talk show guests?
Just like you see them on the thing, they don't even have anything to plug.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, Charles Barkley, Shaq. Who else?
You derive more enjoyment
Tracy
out of
Morgan?
You derive
Yeah,
more
I put
enjoyment out of
Tracy
Shaq
Morgan, right.
than I think anybody ever has.
I love him.
You've completely, he's captured your comedy heart. You see things in him that I don't think most people see.
I've seen those things in him for many
years
many
and years and
when
years.
People be like, "Oh, I knew why he was mumbling. He doesn't want to talk
Yeah.
to those guys."
What was the roast story? We did that roast like 15 years ago.
Oh, that was the craziest.
He was paying a cousin or to take a shit or what was
The
that?
story was, it's funny, Daniel brought this up the other day. There was a story shared about Shaq where his cousin, I guess his version of Sal, he was on the Queen Latifah show, the
Okay.
talk show, and he told his cousin he would give him $10,000 if during the interview he meandered on stage and took a shit. And then when Shaq appeared on Letterman for the first time, the bounty was up to $150,000.
Oh my god! You have to walk. But wouldn't he have gotten tackled before the
he
shit
would have
came
been-
out?
He would have not made it. There's no on Letterman. The guest barely made it out to his desk.
Just say
But-
Theo did it. and be
But
done with
imagine
it.
that guy thinking about that 150 and sweating.
I mean, that's
yeah.
a lot of money.
Jimmy gave me a challenge. I wasn't positive if he was kidding, and I was pretty sure he was kidding. But what did you do right
At the
before?
end of the show.
Go ahead. Yeah, tell.
Just before Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway came out,
Oh, no.
it occurred to me, well, first of all, I thought it would be great if I just walked out there and just threw like 400 envelopes at them. So
Yeah.
they didn't know which one was which. But then it hit me, and I ran back and I said to Sal, Sal, you got to, when Warren, just before he opens that envelope, race out there, snatch it, and keep running until morning.
What would have happened? Would I have been out of jail by now? I would have, right?
I
would've
don't
been-
think I don't think you would have broken any laws. You had a pass. You're allowed to be on that stage.
Really?
The value of the envelope technically is probably less than 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you get some kind of a misdemeanor
Yeah.
interrupting a broadcast charge.
I should have done. I
That
wish
would
he
have been
would've
your
broken it
greatest
down
prank
like that.
ever.
Yeah, that
I'm
would've
trying
been
to
pretty
think
good.
how to top that in front of 30 million people. You steal the envelope.
All right, next year. Next year
I don't
for
know.
sure.
I don't know how I felt about them running them back.
About what?
Beatty and
I told them
Dunaway.
when
I wouldn't have picked that.
When they asked me to host again, I said, I will do it, but we have to have them back. We must have it because, and it was great. You know, I mean, people, even though almost everyone knew it was probably going to happen, it was,
So you
kind
think
of
it was worth
delightful.
it?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, because think about it. Like, you want to just ignore it and have Jack Nicholson come out and it's like, oh, okay. But it was fun to see them again and also to like kind of be in on all the negotiations that went on.
Yeah.
Or you think they asked to get paid this time?
No,
Oh.
no actual financial, but just like how it would go, Faye Dunaway had her own ideas about how it should go.
Oh, Jesus.
Somehow she was on the phone with Baby Doll. for a
Somehow
little
she
bit.
got Baby Doll's cell phone number, Faye Dunaway,
Shut up.
and called and spoke to him for
What?
like 35 or 40 minutes.
How is this
and
possible?
didn't really know she was presenting, right? Like,
Who is this? Faye?
She
Who?
did- even though this has been booked for months, Baby said, of course, Baby had no idea. Man,
Yeah.
was like, so are you planning to be, because she lives in France or something, you're planning to be at the show? She's like, no, I have no plans. This is 2 days before the show.
Oh my God. What did people bring up? What did the last 9 months, what did people bring up to you more? The Oscars envelope, the first speech about Billy, or the second speech?
Billy,
Billy a million times over?
1,000. Yeah. It is weird, and thank God he's doing well, because if he wasn't, I would be reminded of that 20 times a day.
People would just come up to you and
Hey, it's weird. People come up to your brother like, how's your son doing? It's like, well, I'm happy to report and thank you for, I understand
Yeah.
they're being nice, whatever, but what if he wasn't doing well?
Yeah,
How do you
right.
think this conversation would go?
Ugh.
It's like, it's just a little weird.
So that's every day. People are like, how's Billy? Billy, how's he doing? He's great.
If I
Nonstop.
go anywhere other than to work, yeah, at least a dozen times a day.
Do you get it, Sal?
I get it, but it's about you. It's how's Billy? I was like, well, he's got this Ramones T-shirt that no one knows. I think he's spiraling now.
He might go to 4 podcasts a week.
He's doing a lot of weird things to his children. He needs to have his
Watching
Netflix
horror
account
movies.
taken away.
They probably do. All right. This was fun.
Thanks for coming to my office.
Anything to plug?
No, I have nothing to plug. As you know,
Anything to bet on? Is there a bet we could make?
What do we have coming up?
We'll get Jimmy in on whatever we decide to
Oh,
do with
let's
NBA
bet.
Finals.
Well, we'll actually affect the bet. But there's no way Baby's still listening to this podcast, right? I mean, he's checked out.
Oh, yeah. He's got.
Oh, yeah. Let's come up with.
When will he come back? When will we see him again?
Well,
here in LA?
here's the question: is do we do like the 3-part Baby Doll podcast, me, you, and Baby Doll, where we just go for like 4 hours and we tell the entire story of Baby Doll? I mean, you think about like these scripted podcasts that are on now, like Serial and Dirty John, all this. Couldn't like the Baby Doll 6-episode?
6.
I'm telling you,
How
we'll
will
make
we
a
cram
movie
that
out
into
of it.
6 episodes?
10?
We might have to do that posthumously because I'm not certain that he'll be able to continue to work in show business if we really do it properly.
So we have to wait like 8 months.
Yeah, let's wait 8 months to do a podcast. I was just going to say. What if we did a documentary on him? It would win the Oscar, right?
It should be called
A short film.
Kidding.
Why you do this? Is
Kidding.
it? You do a short film about Baby Doll,
Can't be
and you get
short.
all the people Kobe got, and we win the Oscar. You get Kobe as a presenter, or like as a producer. People want to vote for him.
Yeah, he's already animated. Why not?
Yeah.
What other person could you get as a producer that would just swing the committee like that? You see a Magic Johnson.
Magic.
People love
potentially.
Magic Johnson out here more than Kobe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right?
Well, I don't know if they love him more than Kobe, but they're right. They're neck and neck. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Maybe Tommy Lasorda.
Oh no.
Here's the animated short. Okay, Tommy Lasorda. He's on the toilet. Okay, he's cutting a guy. A guy comes in. He's
Cutting a reliever.
1978.
Yeah.
He's cutting Steve Howe. Steve Howe's had some
Yeah, he's had some issues.
problems. Maybe it's the early 80s. He's cutting Steve Howe. Howe walks in. Suddenly, Tommy he has an explosion, just like, really fettuccine Alfredo the night before. And then his bowel movement comes to life. And his bowel movement actually becomes like the best player on the team.
The best left-handed reliever they have.
No, he's a power hitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
is this called Dear Diarrhea?
Ooh, that's
nice.
Yeah. I don't know. We have to. Oh, but he's blue. He came out blue.
Dodger Blue.
yeah.
Yeah, he's Dodger Blue.
I'm
Or
telling
maybe at
you.
the end he turns Dodger Blue.
You get
That's
Magic
pretty
Johnson as a producer.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
hire all the people Kobe hired. This could happen.
Get Gretzky involved.
You could do this.
I hope
Get
Tommy's not
Gretzky.
listening because he will not think this is funny.
Sal's
chance
never
of it.
forgiven Tommy for berating one of his kids.
Oh, no, I loved it. I still have it on my phone.
Oh no, that was very sweet. Actually, there was no. Yeah.
What did he yell at him?
well,
he
he
was in
said
the Dodger
yeah
suite?
instead of yes.
He says,
Which is a
he
big
says, Do
mistake.
you like to play baseball?
Yeah.
And Jack goes, yeah. He says, not yeah, yes. You say yes, not yeah, yeah. No, not yeah. It was who's on
It
first.
really was.
Anthony Costello.
Anyway, let's get to work on that.
So we need something with Baby Doll
Yeah.
to torture him.
Oh, Baby Doll could play his agent. Yeah.
Did we ever create the Baby Doll Instagram account or no?
No, we never did. And if we did, he wouldn't know it anyway.
But don't we have enough pictures that we could just post a picture
God,
every
yeah.
day?
We do, yeah. But I have to save them for my annual Christmas card.
Yeah,
That's
and I have
true.
the Cody's.
keep
I
it
got-
quiet.
That's you got the
I
code.
collected quite a few over Oscar weekend.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks,
you. Cousin Sal.
Good
Don't
job
forget,
by you, Billy.
Against All Odds, Cousin Sal.
Yeah.
March Madness coming up. Whole bunch of good things. The trifecta. You don't have a podcast, Jimmy. You just have a late night show.
I know. I'm the only person in America without a podcast.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have the late night show. I think you're doing all right. Thanks, guys. All right. Thanks again to Jimmy. Thanks again to the Cuz. Don't forget about the Cousins podcast, Against All Odds. Thanks to ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. My listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Thanks to Gillette. Get Gillette Performance delivered to your door. No more getting mad at yourself because you just got back from the grocery store and you realized you forgot to buy blades. That sucks. Subscribe today. Pick your favorite razor. Get every fourth order free. Visit Gillette online at GilletteOnDemand.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Recapables, new podcast that we launched last week, breaking down Atlanta right after Atlanta ends on FX at 10:30 East Coast time. we put up the recapables. So we'll be doing that again on Thursday. And Bachelor Party, if you love TV, especially ridiculous TV, the Bachelor Party podcast hosted by Julia Littman is on fire this week. I think we're having 3. We also have a rewatchables coming. And guess what? Guess what the topic is? We've been circling for a while. It's Creed. We taped this 2 weeks ago, and it is, I think, the longest rewatchables we ever did. It's almost 2 hours and goes in a whole bunch of different directions. It's me, Sean Fennessy, Wesley Morris, and Cam Collins. And definitely the deepest deep dive we've done on a movie and what it means in culture and tying it into Black Panther, all that stuff. So if you love the rewatchables, that's coming on Friday morning. Get ready for that. See you later in the week.